Hey everybody, it's your pal Drew. Got a different theme this time, but it's probably my first episode about Western comics. And I don't mean the publisher Western, I mean a comic that involves a Western character from the Old West. In this case, Jonah Hex. Forget everything you know about the Hollywood version that came out in 2006 or whatever. That was pure crap with no love for the original content and the original the original. And, well, Jonah Hex, he was different than a lot of gunfighters. He written by Michael Fleischer. His book lasted 92 issues, and prior to that, he appeared in about a dozen or more issues of weird Western tales. I kind of skipped this when it first came out, because I was just all superheroes or nothing. Just that's the way I was. And later in life, I've come to really, really enjoy this stuff. Now, Michael Fleischer, he's known for doing really, how can I call it, revenge-oriented characters, like the Spectre and Ghost Rider and Jonah Hex, and one or two I can't think of right now, but ones that are like absolute judges and juries and executioners. Comics Journal is pretty cool. I liked this back then. There was a lot of little in the letters pages. There's some funny little back and forth between a lot of creators. It was kind of pre-internet, frankly. And however, the other contents with the interviews and reviews are exceptional. So I've gotten a lot of these at shows and on eBay, but they're hard to find like in the wild because magazines don't last that long as far as the condition. Like the staple doesn't stay on. This is a nice solid copy. People didn't think of like the Comics Journal as they would save, say, Spider-Man 252. And a lot of people, basically, a lot of Fantagraphics stuff, including this, is sort of it's for, I don't want to say more mature or whatever. It's just, especially Fantagraphics itself with Love and Rockets and so many other books that they've done, overseas books that they've translated. So the Comics Journal was kind of like the place to go for news, gossip, even a change of inkers, which is funny, I can't imagine ever getting a press release for that. I'll show you another time. But so let's get to it. This cover was unused. It was intended for a Jonah Hex Digest edition. In the late 70s, DC did DC Digests that were sold at the at grocery stores, just like Archie is, digest sized and at the cashier. So just like an impulse buy. And I also saw them at one of the drugstores I always went to. They did Adventure Comics. They changed Adventure Comics from a regular size comic to digest size. So they did a variety of things too. They had this one thing called Year's Best Comic Stories, and that was really cool because they would take something from the past year and I love that kind of stuff. It lasted a couple years, and this painting was intended for the fourth issue that covered Jonah Hex by Luis Dominguez, and it's so beautiful. Oh, so much going on. Oh, beautiful stuff. So let's get to it. Jonah Hex, he, as I said, he lasted a long time. He was real popular. And, we get a little insight to his grisly demise in advance. So, give me a second. I'll be right back. A paper towel fell on the floor, and one of our dogs who loves to eat paper was going for it. And I said no, and like a good puppy, he did stop. Jonah Hex Spectacular. This is the only one that existed. Beautiful artwork. He's had top artists. Jose Luis Garcia Lopez did a couple early issues. Towards the end, Tony DeZuniga did a lot of them too. And I've waxed effusively how much. Is that the right word? I've waxed. Let's just say I mentioned him before. I can't think on this Friday night. And it just the Filipino artists really were excellent in the Barbarian book, the non-superhero books, like like this. Tony DeZuniga also inked Dick Ayers later in Ayers' career. And what's interesting is Dick Ayers, his stuff is not that strong. He could tell a story, but it was great when Tony DeZuniga would do elaborate finishes over Dick Ayers stuff. And I thought it was kind of cool that DC would keep somebody like Dick Ayers that I think would have probably, probably be ignored and tossed aside. But he was a pro, and they appreciated that. So, Last Days. Oh gosh, I gotta show you this. I might get a second copy, one that's real ratty, just so I could pull out this poster inside. How about that? And there's no credit to it. See, this guy has extra ace, and Jonah's not having it. Look at it. Oh, black and white is perfect for that. Cross hatching and using cross hatching as earth tones almost, or gray tones. Incident at the Spanish Lady Saloon, El Cali Wells, Nevada, October 23rd, 1874. A pair of bullets on a dead man's hand. So, nice little touch. It has nothing to do with the story, but it's great. So, we get treated to art by the legendary Russ Heath. And the editor is Larry Hama, a legend in his own right. Ben Oda has been around forever. Bob LaRose, I don't know who he is, but this is 1978 Spectacular. Well, this is the last days of the great bounty hunter, Jonah Hex. If you've come to love Jonah Hex as we have come to love him, you may not want to read this story, for it may be the most gut-wrenching saga ever to appear between the covers of a comic magazine. I love that setup. I love that lettering that Ben Otis doing for that. 6, 7, 8 of them. It's Gorge Barrows gang. All right. They robbed a bank in Cheyenne, and now it looks like they's fixing to split off into 2 separate groups, which is fine by me, because I don't feel up to taking on all 8 of them at once anyhow. Beautiful, beautiful landscape there. This sort of catches the reader up on what's happening with him. He says, it's a whole different world from the one it's a whole different world from the one I used to making my way in, that they're certain. Rich folks have started riding around in country and gasoline machines, and now they say some bicycle mechanics in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, is going to have us all flying through the air like we was a flock of migrating ducks. So he's having a hard time adjusting. It's 1904, as he mentions here. Still, 1904 is a strange time to be alive. Lord knows how I've made it. And he's 66, as he mentions. And so he's more gaunt, and his hair's gray. But, so... Don't look now, Zeke, but that old buzzard we spotted a ways back is still dogging our tail. Don't worry, I seen him. We'll take camp here, and all you listen up, I got me a plan. So they basically have some of the guys scout different areas. We'll circle around behind him and catch him in a crossfire. Yeah, let's do it. All right, mister, get on your feet. I love the coloring, real nice. What? There's no one here. That's right, skunk, you have found him. And takes another one out, and he's in his long johns. So he's done that before, where he's made himself use his clothes as a distraction. And I don't know, Pete, they should have been by now. I don't hear no shots. Maybe they's dead. You ain't saying you killed him, are you, old man? Because if you are, you're sure doing a powerful lot of bragging for a decrepit old geezer what can't even stand up straight. Ain't no bragging, skunk, just facts. Takes him away. Love that. You're getting mighty slow, Jonah boy. Mighty damn slow. So he's a little tear in his jacket. That's a great image. So he goes to the town to get his money. He's dragging the horse. My word, Henry, who was that man? I don't know, dear. Why, it's Jonah Hex. But that was 30 years ago my pa saw him. So he goes in and collects his bounty. My dad said he was the greatest of the old-time bounty hunters.
Bounty hunter indeed. He's a barbarian. What he is. What's wrong with him? Does he realize he's in the 20th century? Here goes the sheriff, drops off, gets bounty, and the sheriff likes him. You know, he's like, I swear, Jonah, at your age, I don't know how you keep it up. A younger man would have picked up, cut out in a comfortable rocking chair a long time ago. Man stops living, Hank, he starts to dying. So he authorizes a check, but he has to sign it, and he puts on spectacles. So the Ernie, Jonah meet, Hank's told me all these stories, and we're the modern day police department. We don't take kindly to bounty hunters. Take it easy, Ernie. So you should have let him do what? Get yourself killed? Jonah Hex may wear spectacles now, but he could still stitch your name and bullets across your forehead before you can even count to 5. They don't make men like Jonah Hex anymore, but by God, I wish they did. Russ Heath art, just as a reminder. And he's just getting a sack of flour, 2 boxes of 30 shells, 1 small keg of Corona cigars. Will that be all, Hex? And this young guy comes by, and he wants to tell Jonah's tale of the Old West. He's one of the old gunfighters. And first, Jonah Hex kind of blows him off, I might even get a chance to meet you. You just met me, boy, and I hope it's been a scintillating experience. So he finally talks Hex into tagging along. All I want to do is preserve some of that life the way it used to be. So the people of the future, people who otherwise never get to a world at all, to your world at all, can have some idea what it was really like. He came all the way from New Jersey just for that. So he says, you can stay with me. And his wife comes out. And he sits by the fire. And he goes over some of the stuff with the young guy, talks about it as a youth among the proud Apache, years as a buffalo hunter, an army scout, etc., etc. That's another thing. Like, that's his head there, and that's his stomach, and that's his chest. That's one of the old Jonah Hex tricks, is he would drop to the ground and shoot. And that worked a lot, because back then people didn't really have styles of fighting, or they just got their guns most of the time. But that was like his signature move. And nobody talked about it because they didn't live to talk about it. Hex, is that you? Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Lou Farnham, operator of Farnham Spectacular Wild West Review. This is man scares off my dinner just like you did, Farnham. I don't rightly care who he is. Now get. So I love the snow. He wants him to be a star attraction at L.B. Farnham's Spectacular Wild West Review. He's like, yeah, we can dress you up like Elvis. No. He says, you can reenact your famous gunfighting feats, and look at this costume we designed for you. What legendary figure wouldn't be proud to wear this? Your own name emblazoned across the back. Genuine simulated rhinestone diamonds. Genuine simulated. I love that. It's kind of like how used cars became pre-owned cars. Maybe we could have you juggle some balls and everything. And he says, so he takes off. Leave these 2 lunatics. I'm going to have them work for me one way or the other. So more days pass, and then late one afternoon, his wife Tallbird is missing. A note. What's it say? We got your woman. It's a suicide note. Suicide note if I ever saw one. You mean Tallbird committed? No, boy. I mean, that was George Barrow gang. So, we get some crazy old man. He ain't so damn feeble when he wiped out half the gang a few months back. So, they'll have their agendas. And there's only one way to their camp. But he's a wily guy. Mr. Jonah, he sneaks up, takes him on the knife. And what's great is he's not shooting, so there's no sound that throws anybody off. So, and as soon as our lookout sees him coming, we just get him into ambush position and shoot his teeth out. Hey, Luke, what are you doing down here? Your watch ain't up yet. Oh, yeah, I know. I just came in for a quick cup of coffee. George. I don't like that. Doesn't sound like Luke's voice. Well, I ain't gonna go underestimating him for long. All right, Hex, you foxy old duffer, reach. Hex, I'm not. Hey, who in blazes are you? It's that kid who's following him. That's it, boy. You're just doing fine. Just get him to move a mite closer to that campsite. And he's like, it's like, I can't, without these specs on, I can hardly see a blasted, well, you better talk and pronto. Takes the guys out. I love the postures. They're very, they're natural without, and they're not being stiff and stodgy. It's sort of how you would imagine it would happen. So his wife Tallbird is rescued. And I try to stop him, but don't feel bad, boy. It's me. What ought to be ashamed of himself. These tired old eyes ain't what they used to be. So they head back. Oh, that's such a beautiful... That's almost like a letterbox panel. And there's one guy left. And don't be forgetting yourself with a fret about George Barrow, neither. We'll meet up with him again. You sure will, you feisty old buzzard. You'll be meeting up with me sooner than you think. So they go in town again. And let me see if there's an old woman I could do her voice. I can't do it. Or a proper woman. Let's see. There it is. One of the new 3-horsepower Oldsmobiles. You certainly know your automotives. And Oldsmobile, oddly enough, is no longer used as a... it lasted into the 90s. It's like the phrase, this isn't your father's Oldsmobile, that's where that phrase originated. So, you know, if they brought back Jonah Hex or something, they'd be like, this isn't your father's Jonah Hex. And so many people have borrowed that phrase, but Oldsmobile originated it. But now it's not anybody's Oldsmobile, oddly enough. It's just Buicks and their names. He goes, would you like to take a ride in the car for free? It's not me. I only risk my neck when I get paid for it. But you enjoy yourself. I'll be right back. Whiskey coming right up. So there he is. Come on. Let's play some cards. He goes, damn. I wish Wheeler to get back. Staring at these cards, playing these cards is about to make my poor old eyes do flip-flops. He cleans his glasses. Someone comes in. And without these specs, a number of the pasteboards would keep on jumping down like crickets on a... So you can't see too good without your spectacles, huh, Buddy Howder? Maybe what you need is some lenses. Here, let me get rid of the old ones. And he blasts Jonah. That's a great angle from the glass lens. And Irene, give me Sheriff Crawford, hurry. Don't try and stop them all by yourself, Bell, right there. Blast. George Barrow just blasted Jonah Hex. Come on. Yeah, I did it. I killed Jonah Hex. All right, Barrow, drop the gun. Huh? Okay, don't shoot. I'm dropping it. It's not even loaded. And the sheriff decides. He too pissed off. He knows that Jonah was done dirty, and they've had old friendship. Oh dear God, no! I better help me off this floor, boy. It's cold. And he's passed on, and he gets carried. The kids are like, "Oh, is that the legendary gunfighter?" And one of the kids says, "Oh, I got a button off of his coat. That ain't fair. I want one too." Like that face. Get away from me, you disgusting little animals! Ouch! Ah, wait till you big bully. And Tallbird is there at home. He's dead, Tallbird, and it's all my fault. If I didn't... Shh! Do not speak like this. His death was not your doing. Men like Jonah Hex choose their time of dying. If they die, it is because deep inside they have willed it. What the... Put him right there. For his funeral, have a funeral pyre. So... I got big plans for that body, and burning it ain't including them. They shoot the guy and the wife, and they burn the whole house down. What do we do with Jonah Hex's corpse? What's the matter with you, Simon? You ever hear of taxidermy? Well, He's pretty messed up from them shotgun blasts, Mr. Farnham, but I think I fixed him up for you. You ought to be ready in a week. Okay, don't forget to dress him up in his costume. 1 week later, delivery to Monarch Taxidermy Studios. What do you want? Right in there. Be careful, Mr. Farnham. Careful you don't damage him, Simon. And here we go. Well, Lou, what do you think? It's perfect, Simon. Just perfect. How grisly, how horrible would it be to have your body after your death, after out of the blue death, end up taxidermied to be toured around? I mean, that is so wrong for so many ways. Like I have to tell you, everybody. And I guess I'm shot by screwing around with the 6-gun like a moron. But they bring him on tour. And there's betrayal upon betrayal. That's Batlash. That's the opposite of Jonah Hex. So the stuffed corpse of Jonah Hex underwent a strange odyssey after that. In 1923, he lay in the back room of a musty old antique shop somewhere in the Midwest. And when the antique shop went out of business in 1949, its contents were consigned to a dingy warehouse in downtown Detroit. Jonah lay there untouched till 1972 when he was purchased by the enterprising businessman, repaired, repainted, and installed as part of the Wild West decor of the Westworld Amusement Park on the outskirts of New York City. Is that for real, man, Mommy? Of course not, darling. He's only a dummy. You've probably seen commercials for that park on television. We better get back to town, Timothy. It's starting to rain. Take that, bad man. Bang, bang. Before you turn the page, stop to say goodbye to him. Jonah Hex, born 1838, died 1904. The last bounty hunter. That's even worse. He's discorporating under the rain, and it's just horrible. It's horrible. Horrible death. But the book hadn't been canceled yet. This was 78, and the actual book didn't get canceled till 1981 or 82, something like that. But this is one of those stories, like, even if you know how it's going to end up, you kind of know it. It's like some people have said is Dark Knight canon for Batman, because that's sort of, and Dark Knight 2, Dark Knight 3 are supposed to be like the final days of Batman. That's sort of a different thing, because the Batman comics have been around 80 years or so, and so his continuity, it shouldn't be written in stone like it would be for someone here who lived 100 plus years ago. So the book lasts for a while. And here's Batlash, also great story here. Artist is George Mall Attorney. There we go. Denny O'Neil writing it. I don't know who George Malteri is, but he's really friggin' good. So this is the opposite. Batlash is he's a scoundrel, and he always stays one step ahead of people that he screws at cards. And then there's Scalp Hunter. And here I go again with Conway Ryder, Dick Ayers, and Danny Bullinotti are the artists finisher in that, and it's really great looking stuff. I mean, you see this and you don't think of Dick Ayers. So anyway, that's it. The grisly death of Jonah Hex, and I think it's just a spectacular storyline. I had read about it years ago, but I never read the issue, and when I did finally, it was still creepy as hell to me. Anyway, that's about it, and I'll talk to you all soon enough, and everybody have fun, and have a good weekend. It's Friday evening. That's it.